Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today I have a DIY for you. I'm going to show you how I made a Death Star Pinata for my son's Star Wars birthday party. What you'll need, if you're me, is an iced coffee and a beach ball. I just purchased mine at the Dollar Tree. Some strips of newspaper, a bowl with flour, water, and some glue. And now this is the first layer, and for the second layer I did add a little bit of cornstarch to my mixture, and I think that made the texture a little bit better, so I would recommend adding a little bit of that too. And then it's so easy. You just dip your newspaper into the mixture and layer it on your beach ball. And as you can see, it's really drippy and messy, so I definitely recommend laying down some newspaper or something to catch your drips. My little ones absolutely loved this. They thought it was so much fun to dip the newspaper and put it on the beach ball. And you'll want to make sure that you leave the part of the beach ball that you inflate with air out. You don't want to cover that up with your newspaper because you're going to need that spot to deflate your beach ball once your piñata is dry. Now I did 2 layers of newspaper, letting it dry completely in between each layer, and then once it was completely finished I let it dry overnight and actually blew a fan on it. And then once it's completely dry, you'll just let the air out of your beach ball like that. I really don't think you need more than 2 layers because this thing was really sturdy. It took quite a beating. So unless you're gonna have some adults whacking the thing, I wouldn't go more than 2 layers. The next step in the process is to figure out how in the world to hang the thing, and this was tricky. I didn't really know what I was doing. I looked at several different things on Pinterest, and what I came up with was cutting out 3 circles of some foam board that I had and just kind of strung it through. I made some slits in the sides of one of the pieces of foam board, which you'll see, and just kind of strung the fishing line through that, and then strung it through the next circle, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but it worked. I'm sure you can find a more detailed instruction video somewhere on YouTube or on Pinterest or whatever. This is just what I did. I just wanted to show you what I did, and again, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm sure there's an easier way, but this is what I did, and it worked. And the fishing line was an awesome effect. I highly recommend using fishing line if you do something like this, because when it's hanging, you can't see the fishing line, so it looks like it's just floating in air. So it was perfect for a Star Wars theme. And the reason I'm even using the foam board circles at all is just to kind of reinforce it so that all of the weight of the candy inside is not going to bear on just the paper mache itself. And it worked. So just do something. Don't just poke a hole in your paper mache and string it, or it'll probably tear through. And here's my little guy helping me put all of the candy in there. And then my daughter said she wanted to help, but in reality she just wanted to steal some candy, which I think he did too. So once it's all filled up with candy, then it's time to seal our hole. And I cut out a piece of newspaper the size of the hole, and then I laid it over top of a little bowl and just used some duct tape to kind of mold the shape of the indent on the Death Star, and then I'm just hot gluing it into place. Now I would have done this with paper mache over that little bowl instead of using the duct tape, but I ran out of time. This was the day before the party, and I knew I wasn't going to have time for it to dry completely, and I needed to paint the thing. So that's why I used the duct tape, but it would probably be easier just to do it with paper mache if you can. Just allow yourself more time than I did. And just hot gluing it into place, and there it is, and we are ready to paint. And I'm just using regular old craft paint. I used, actually mixed together some black and white to make my own gray because I didn't have any gray, and just painting it on with a foam brush, and this stuff dries super fast. And the last step didn't get filmed, I'm sorry about that, but what I did was took a Sharpie and just drew some brick type of shapes onto the Death Star to give it some detail. And with only 2 layers of paper mache, it was more than sturdy enough. It lasted for quite a long time. Everybody at the party got to take turns hitting it before it finally broke open, and the kids absolutely loved it, and it saved me $35 because that's how much they were on Amazon. So I'm so glad that I made it, and if your little one wants to have a Death Star at his party, I totally recommend making your own. It was so worth it. If you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would subscribe. That way I can see you in my next one.